The Let Me Be Frank podcast is proudly sponsored by Glenwood. Glenwood are the UK's leading construction industry debt recovery agency.
Remember, no win, no fee with Glenwood Debt Recovery.
Find out more at glenwoodconstruction.co.uk. We're back again. It's Let Me Be Frank. It's another episode of your favourite Scottish football and entertainment podcast with myself, Simon Houston, the man himself, Frank McAvennie, looking all sun-kissed there in the heat wave.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? It's brilliant.
You've been enjoying it. I see your shorts on again.
I have.
I always try and hide my legs.
I know.
So I'll just move them over there.
Mine's are all right. Mine's are okay.
The weather's been good. You've been golfing enough?
No, I haven't. No golf for a week. I've not golfed for a week, but I'm playing. Apart from yesterday, and I'm playing tomorrow as well.
I'll get bad news. I'm
playing tomorrow. Charity, of course, charity.
Remember, I told you I won the singles competition at my home club last summer.
Vaguely.
Every day. My defence didn't last long. I get bumped out.
Did you?
In the first round yesterday. The defence. There's a wee technicality. I'll talk to you about.
Did somebody go around with you and mark the card?
I had a putt in the 18th to win the 18th and take it to extra holes in it. Wow. There was a Brazilian. You know what Brazilian is, don't you?
Yeah, of course I do.
Aye.
What's that got to do with golf?
My putt just shaved the hole. And,
is that
right? Sorry. And anyway, so enough of that. So we've got, what a guest we've got today. Only to be expected, and let me be frank, because this man's contacts book, as we've said, is just like the best in the world. Celtic fans of a certain age who will remember the golden era of Martin O'Neill coming in, the turn of the millennium, turning everything round, a whole new era of success, and he put his arm round the shoulder of this guy and turned him into a world beater. Bobby Petta is with us.
Hey, Bob.
How you doing?
Thanks.
Good to have you. I'm good to be here.
Thank you.
And you enjoying the sunshine too?
As you can tell.
You can tell, yeah.
You pretty much set up home in Scotland now.
I've been in now. I came back in 2010, and I've been in the last 15 years. In total, maybe nearly 28.
Fantastic, yeah.
I've been abroad for a while, so yeah, it's just like my second home. I would have never thought that after all these years that I would come here and met.
You'd never have met me.
And Frankie boy.
Aye.
But it's good.
He's dragged you out on the golf course a few times. I know that because I've golfed with the pair of you.
He calls me two ball Bob because I always have two balls in my pocket.
Well, he's always got two balls.
And of course, if I lose one, I drop one, right?
I've seen, but I always remember playing with you. Your drives go a mile.
Yeah, in the bushes.
I not always the right direction.
I know. So he's distracting me.
His problem
and I need to look where the ball is.
See with the Dutch, they love to win everything. I mean, they do. So when he hits a shot, he'll hit a great shot, and then he'll duff one. And he'll go, and he gets annoyed with her. And I go, what are you annoyed with her? I says, you're playing off 17 or something. And that's what the handicap's for.
Yeah,
but he wants to hit a shot good every time. And that's where it gets to him. I get to him.
But that's a professional sportsman.
Everything right at home.
I've been interested to watch the progress of a friend of this podcast, because I've had him on before, Charlie Mulgrew.
Yes.
So Charlie's now taking up golf fairly seriously, and I noticed in one of his posts that he wants to get down to scratch as well. So he's golfing a bit like yourself every day of the week. So we'll watch that.
He's starting on the podcast. He's doing it on the golf course.
Charlie
just for golf.
Aye, good.
He's doing on the golf course. So
maybe the Let Me Be Frank boys should challenge him and one of his pals.
Well, I was at John Hartson thing last week, the golf day, but he had people walking around with him.
With Charlie?
Yeah, and it was a Texas scramble, but it was so slow. Because
I noticed he had a photographer, John Scott, I think it was, taking a lot of pictures. A very good photographer, by the way. I've met him professionally, very good. But I thought Charlie had quite a good swing, but a wee bit fast.
A bit far, but he has a 7-iron longer mad drive. I'll tell you what, he can hit it, but he doesn't know where it's going.
Anyway, this is a football podcast, so we'll talk about golf for the time being. So, Bobby, tell us about your early life as a young footballer in the Netherlands. And you Feyenoord Academy, is that right? Is that what you can?
Yeah, I went through the Feyenoord Academy when I was 14. That's where it all started in terms of playing for a big name club. But I only started playing football. Actually joining a football club, my local football club, Papendrecht, when I was 9. Unlike nowadays, you get drafted in 6, 7, it's too early. You just let them, play different sports. Quite sporty. I was interested in all the stuff. Tennis was the main one that I played at the time. And I played football because that's kind of like a national sport in Holland. We play it on the streets. I think that's the key thing, is just enjoying your youth and find out what you really like and what you're good at. Yeah. And then over time, you get told that somebody at 12 years old, Nico Labome, is his name, Nico, who was head of the district team. So it's basically in my area, at a certain age, they will start looking at players who are people speak about. There was no social media back then. So again, if you do well, people start talking within the football circles, the amateur clubs and all that stuff. And that's how it all started. And then you play from one district, competition against another district. And that's where the scouts come. And then that's when I noticed me.
Am I right in saying when you signed for Feyenoord, it's not like over here, it's not sort of a semi-professional term, you're tied up to that, it's still amateur? When you signed for, you're not at 14.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
you're
basically just register with them,
right? So you're not tied to them, really.
Well, you register, you can't play any other, but you're there for a reason. You train obviously from twice a week to 4 times a week. You're in that age group in the top level. So let's say in every age group, like I started there when I was in the C, so you were 14, 15. Now there's 5 teams in that age group. But I'm number 1. Now if you don't do well, you kind of after reflecting after 3 months, 6 months, they kind of say, right, let's see how you've done. Give you some feedback. You start to do better. If not next year, because you stay in that age group for 2 years before you move on, you kind of either you have to up your standards or you drop down. So in terms of that way, there you have to deal with competition and with other players, all that kind of stuff.
It's a good thing, isn't it?
I think it's a good thing.
I think that, and we were talking about it off air. And
there's not many clubs.
I think nowadays the things is there's no competition for people.
Because
everyone
two
wins.
teams, one big team. You can't make up a second team. So basically, what they're saying, so it's a few things. If you want to be in the top team, that's where you're the ones that want it more, and the talented ones. But any ones that's lacking, that filter down. But you still play every week.
Yeah.
Nobody gets left out. And then that's the thing. Here they get left out.
Yeah.
Because they're not enough.
Yeah,
and then becomes winning. It's not about winning; it's about developing. But the ones that filter down or the drop off, they still have time to play. They might not become a pro thing, but they're still happy to play football every week, and that's about it. Playing every week.
Over here, sometimes they don't play for weeks.
No,
you know, if they're signed for Celtic or Rangers or St Mirren or whoever,
but
they
nobody.
Don't play.
But me 14, 15, a lot of them, but they don't. They don't put on social media how you sign. You're still amateur. It doesn't matter. I don't know. I'm looking at. Yes, you're proud. Don't need to put it on there. That's in my opinion. Wait till he gets there.
Well, I'm a great believer in a couple of things. I'm a great believer in. If you're not playing, if you're signed for St Mirren, and you're not playing at the weekend, go and play with your pals at school. They should be allowed to go and play if they're still at school, or go and play with the amateur clubs that they came from. Because I know that you could get injured, but you can get injured crossing the road. I just don't. They'd be better playing against their pals, and I think it'd be better because it's about enjoyment. I think it's about fun.
But when I was 14, I still play for my school team.
Yeah,
I don't have a school team. I still play on the streets with my pals.
Do they still do that now? Because they don't.
No, it's a bit harder. But they have those cages where they play, and that's where normally. But now there's special cages where everybody goes. So it's you can play basketball, anything, but most of the time it's just football.
Tell me this: as a youngster playing in the Netherlands, the whole idea of Dutch total football, where kids could all play like different positions. I think that's the definition of total football, isn't it? That you could play right back, or you could play left wing, or you could play centre forward. It was basically being comfortable with a football.
The first and foremost.
Yeah. And was that your experience of it? You could, but obviously they wouldn't have asked you to play centre half. I get that. Maybe they would.
No, but I think so. If you have a group of boy forwards, you want to play football, but you already know amongst each other who's better in defense, who likes to go up front, who's good scorer, who's good win. You kind of figure it out yourself. And I think you just play. And then you just move in position automatically, just by feeling off each other. So now I'll go there. It just happens. Instead of being told, you kind of say, you go back and you accept it. Because already you start to direct each other. And someone says, okay, do this, I do okay, so I'll stay there. You already starts from the streets, playing against different kids. Because that's where I was. On back door, there was a square. And we used the garage doors as the goals. But there's walls. So you actually already start interact with what's around you.
Sure.
Yeah.
So the word I always think of when I think of Bobby Petta is transformation. So you were signed by John Barnes.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say that the early part of your Celtic career, wasn't the best.
Well, shite.
We'll talk about the lyrics of the song in a wee minute. But okay, the joke was he was shite, now he's better. Yeah. Bobby Petta. But Martin Neil
came in. Now he's glasses. I like that one.
So Martin Neil comes in and obviously thinks very quickly, because it was in his first 2 or 3 games, league matches, this guy's got what it takes. Starts you in the famous 6-2 game, which would have probably been your finest hour in a Celtic top.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Yeah. So what was the difference between the kind of Barnes era and then Martin Neil came in?
So obviously it wasn't a good season for various reasons. We don't really have to go into that as such, but it wasn't good. So you come in the second year, and taken into the second year what you've learned from the first year, things that didn't go well and what annoyed me, and what's required. Being in Glasgow, I like to be sociable, but obviously if you don't perform, you get told on the streets. Yeah. You got to have thick skin and you got to deal with it. Yeah. And,
so did you get a bit of that? Did you get
I got a bit of stick
in the streets?
Yeah, I got a bit of streets where somebody asked me for an autograph, and I was because I didn't want to meet in that place to my pals. So I seen them. So listen, I don't want to be in this place. This girl walks out, sees me, and wants a photograph. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not in the mood. So I go to him, and straight away she comes in after me. Who do you think you are? You don't deserve to wear that jersey, blah, blah. So go outside. I'm like, oh, my red face. So go outside. And I had to calm it down. And I'm thinking somebody else around me, there's boys scattering around. I'm like, I'm going to get a doing here or something like that. So I calmed it down and said, look, I understand. I'm explaining the situation, how I felt. Yeah. So I'm not like that. Yeah. So basically, you still want a picture? He says, okay then. Yeah. But it's just... It didn't look alike. Anyways.
But you were dealing... That's the kind of thing you were dealing with.
I had to deal with it. It was not easy. It was not easy. Yeah. I had to figure it out a bit. Then, so when I played that first year, we played a different system. We played, like the Brazilian team, 4-2-2-2. And it didn't work, of course. We had good players just as a team. I don't think they put us in the right formation, strategy to get the most out of us as a team. Individually, good players. But that's not about individual players, it's about the team. I was playing right of midfield at times. Me and Reggie. And so it was difficult. But I try to do the job as best as you can. But I noticed during the games that we at the time had Stefan Mahe and Vido Rithet coming from very deep down that wing. Yeah. It's too deep. If I'm in the midfield, I need somebody out at left, outside, right. There was none because everything is tight. And every time we would, especially against Rangers, they would have width and would tackle us on the width. Yeah. Then I've got strikers put ball in the box. So I'm thinking you need to be a bit savvier.
We discussed that John Barnes system with I think it might have been Jackie McNamara a few weeks ago. This idea of the banks of, it was like almost like 4 banks of 2. And then two players up and down.
That's two players. That's the fullbacks.
Yeah.
Very surprising John done that because he couldn't have played in that system.
So was I.
He based it in Brazil, and it was Cafu and Roberto Carlos with the 2.
Yeah.
They did up and down, and then
but if you sign in this case myself, who's obviously even though my favorite position is centre midfield player, but I like to play on the wing. I've played in the wing in 4-3-3. But as a 4-4-2 at Ipswich on the wing, then you put me right side of midfield. You understand where I'm coming from? I'm like, then you expect me to do as well as you think I'm hoping to as a winger. It only worked for a short period of time before I think, listen, this is going well, but to get the most out of me and to judge me properly, you need to put me in that position. Yeah. Because that's what I'm there to do.
Yeah.
So what was your favourite position then? What would you have said?
Well, I would say, looking at my favourite position was centre mid behind the strikers, right? That's freedom. Because I played like that at Feyenoord as a youth player. Yeah. But I could so again what you just mentioned by playing in multiple position. Yeah. I played up front, I played right wing, played left midfield, left front. Because you get taught and you watch.
Yeah.
Even left back at times we have to. So that education goes forward, but. What changed was the fact that Martin came So first, for your mindset, different manager. Everybody starts from square one.
Yeah.
2, what system is going to play this game? We play with wingers, and play 3-5-2. So finally, you on a wing.
Yeah.
So I'm happy, and it just work.
Yeah.
We talk about golf, and I used certain things we have to do in golf. You play a crab ball. Doesn't matter. You can still make an up or down. You can still make par.
Yeah.
So forget about it. 5-second rule when you come off. That kind of thing. I kept coaching back in position. It doesn't matter. But next one. You know what I mean? Even Tommy Burns helped me a lot.
Yeah.
You get the ball. Get us win it back.
That was his. He was out there.
So and he helped me a lot in that phase. So that needs to be mentioned as well, because he seen I was struggling, and he, he's a football person. He's a people's person. I can see it. What was not being given. I got it from Tommy before Martin came, and that was a good combination. Martin was very clever. The gaffer was very clever. Knows how he likes to play football. Knows the history of the club. Knows the players. Obviously, having to see before he makes the decision to get certain players in and get players out that would suit his playing style, but also the characters that it needs within a team.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, very important. So, as Martin was there, obviously not last week, he says he just needed a bit of advice, a little bit of confidence.
TLC.
Yeah, and that's it.
That's that kind of arm around the shoulder thing almost as well. And they give someone the confidence.
Yep.
That day, the day of the 6-2 match, can you, if you take yourself back to the changing room before kick-off and the final team talk and so on, do you remember being given any specific instructions to maybe target Fernando Ricksen and that he might have been a weak link or what was
that.
No. So you were brimming with confidence for some reason.
Yeah, but you think, because I didn't start the season, I started on the bench, and we started, I think, Dundee United, and then I got the nut against Hearts.
Yeah.
And then I, the 2 assists, and then ultimately the old
firm. You know right away you had him.
Yeah,
you get a feeling.
I get a feeling for it because
he was famously hooked after 20 odd minutes. Wasn't he?
When I play against centre half, you know right away if you've got him.
You really got him, but it's just you just knew. But we all know what happened before last year and on the season before that, how it went in previous years. Know how much it means. So it's a big one for everyone, especially for myself as I know Chris Sutton, the Gaffin's team, myself, the first time to start. I've seen plenty on the sideline. So now I'm like on the wing. I'm confident. So as we are about to start, I'm just looking to my left, and I'm looking around. I'm just like, okay, that's me and Fernando. The way they set up, I'm like, and Dick Advocaat used to be my coach and Bert Verlingen at the national team. Yeah. I know him very well. So I'm like, okay, I'm a bit surprised on that. Ball.
We'll go for it.
But no, I go for it. I got it. Because I was happy. No one around me. 1-on-1. Take you any day. Really, that's how confident I was, and I did. So obviously he got hooked off after 21 minutes. It's not until a few months later you get invited to go to the Dutch national team, had some training sessions, and then we all gathered in this cafe restaurant area, meeting area, and then let's walk in, and somebody says, "Come on, really who?" He says, "Bobby." I said, "Hey, turn around." He says, "Turn around." He says, "Fernando, look at him now. You recognize him now?" So
football's a cool.
It's a cool thing, right? So I end up sitting next to Fernando, God bless him, and we looked at each other. I said, "You right?" I said, "Bobby, that day, man, I didn't know what you were doing." I said, "I know." Fernando says,
I didn't know what I was doing either.
I knew he was coming. I said, but again, it's like, I know what you're like, and you're very intense, but with my background, I can go inside, I get outside, and I know you're eager, and that plays in my hands, because I just know right, I go outside, because you want it too much, and therefore your timing, so I can read it. I never thought, but when it came off, it went off, and that's. I didn't expect, but obviously it is what it is, and I was in a good mood. I was full of confidence, and everything. I think is a bit of a reward for what personally, because nobody knows how it really feels, because they only see it from the outside. But the things I had to go through to keep myself right, the big stage. Never played in them. Also having to, in a sense, prove people wrong because I know what I'm capable of doing. But obviously the pressure I put on myself is that I need to show it. So the way I criticize maybe some other players or with TV, whatever, this is how I coach myself.
Sure.
I'm hard on myself. You do the same. We're hard on ourselves. So when we say something about somebody, it's like, no. Because we say it with a bit more action.
You mean it for best. You mean the best for them. But
yeah, I mean best. But they got to be sharper. You want more. Because this is the difference between wanting it or not. It's just you want to perfect it. Not good enough. And that's the thing. So it was a system, and obviously Stefan Mahe was obviously behind me. Stubbs was in the embody. Now also my thing is mental attitude. I know what I like. And I like to be just so focused on doing what I need to do defensively as well. Just get in position, work hard, and then everything else will follow into place. Tom Burns says, "You set your stall out." So the first thing that when Lubo opens up, go over the top, which I did. Gets the crowd going. Your intentions are there to attack. This is how you win them back, Bob. And that's what Tommy said, and that's basically what happened.
You told me once the one of your outstanding memories of that first 12 minutes when Celtic were 3-0 up was just how tired you were, because the whole occasion and the emotion, all the energy.
It was. It's just
you're running back to the halfway
line, and I just look up the score. 1 minute 12, 13. Oh my. I've got another 80 minutes, 89 minutes of this. I've felt really tired. It is intense, but still.
Get your second window, and then once you get that.
I mean, and then the way things would go wave after wave, and it was going back and forth. It wasn't because they didn't sit back; they were attacking too. And of course, we look back at it and think, what a fantastic game that was.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was 6-2
really, for both parties. In a way, look at it, and
Martin O'Neill always said that it wasn't until Sutton scored the final goal. This could still, Rangers still could come back.
Yeah, because you had to be. So we can normally see actually now it's a game of two halves, and if one half you're really good, the second half you play less.
Yeah.
We actually continued in the second half.
Yeah.
And I think that was the difference. Nobody stopped running, working for each other. They kept going, try to obviously get goals and do better. But I think just the whole moment, I think the majority of Celtic probably didn't expect this kind of result and performance. And to be part of it, I'm obviously very grateful. But personally, my first one, I done really well. A win would have been enough, but the way it went, it's just like a cherry on the.
And the fans took you to their heart. So you were talking about that situation a year or so before that, when you were uncomfortable going out about in Glasgow. All of a sudden, you were a hero. So do you remember going out and about in the weeks after that period?
Everybody's always a different story. They still talk about it now. Do you remember? It says, no, tell me about it. But it's humbling, right? Because I think just to get a story, when Virgil van Dijk came over, I was asked to show him around in town. So we're walking down Buchanan Street and sitting on Royal Exchange Square, right? And obviously he's massive and he stands out. I'm only 5'7". I'm not that big, but only a winger. But people come up to me and start acknowledging me.
Yeah.
And it's like, right, stop with it, Bobby. I says, hold on a minute. I'm taller than you. I'm standing out more than you, but people always say hi to you. I says, it doesn't matter how big you are. I says, but when you do something great for this club in their eyes, right, it will never be forgotten. No. For years to come. So, and that was, I think that as an example, it's like, it's not a matter of how you look, it's just what you do, and people will remember. They remember, always highlight the good times. Maybe few, but it will always highlight it. There's many to pick from. But this is a beauty, because in Holland we don't get that appreciation.
Sure.
In Holland it's more like, I done it, but what does he do now? It's kind of like, right, okay, that was good then.
Bring him down.
But that's interesting. So you obviously weren't still at Celtic at that point when Van Dijk signed, but did you?
Stop football. Stop. I'll just.
But someone said to you, like, you're his countryman. Did you know him at that point?
No, I kind of heard from him. But Reggie, my teammate Reggie, asked me to look in. He's coming over. There's a bit of a guy show him about. What I mean? So then I did.
Yeah. Wow.
But good chat. But I already said to him. So after watching him, and he used to pick me up, and I would go to Lennox Town, and he would do training, and I'll go to the gym there. And Lenny was there, and I said, "Look, you won't be here long, because his attributes. I know Frank has an opinion about it when he first came, And but see what he's done now.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a big club, and you want to leave a legacy. Now, if you do well, the people will. Doesn't matter. Even now, all these years, it's been 25 years ago, people still remember, and it's at least you've done a good thing. So if we think about it, we all love music and bands and stuff like that. But just think about it. If you are able to do something that is your profession, but also something you love, and your course, you create a memory for somebody after 20 years, and they still talk about it, I think you've done something great. It's not that somebody think about it every day. So no, but when they highlight, it's like, I saw it did. Aye, I'm grateful for that. No, thank you. I'm happy you felt that way, and that's quite touching in a way to look at it that way.
As ever, a shout out to our sponsors on Let Me Be Frank, which is Glenwood, which is a business-to-business debt recovery firm focusing on the construction industry. Frank, it's not much fun when someone owes you money when you've done a job.
No, well, especially if you've done the work, they don't pay. Glenwood will go and get it for you, and they take the pressure away from you.
They don't mess around.
They make it happen.
If you've done the work and you're not getting paid, get in touch with them and they will help get the money that you're rightly owed. And if you want to get in touch with them, you can do that by going on their website, which is glenwoodconstruction.co.uk, and have a look at what they do and see if it's the kind of company you need, and I'm sure it will be.
And don't forget to say Frank sent you.
Obviously, the Celtic Feyenoord connection, apart from yourself, Henrik too. You were telling me beforehand that did you play alongside him at Feyenoord at any point, or Henrik Larsson? Or
when we trained, yeah. This was all in pre-season, and he just arrived, and maybe within 2 weeks, I went out on loan to RKC Waalwijk, who plays in the Dutch Premier League as well. I went there on loan for the season. Because previously Giovanni was there on loan, and it worked out for him. When I was on loan at RKC that year, last 6 months I was at loan at the first division club, and we won the championship there. And again, you're young play, you're not getting playing time in the first team. So instead of playing reserve football, you get played in the first team of another team, and that's how it kind of worked. Met Henrik, he's a couple of years older than me, but you could see it already. I remember the first session we did Rondo, and he played me through the legs, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. He played me through the legs, and I looked at him like,
yeah.
But it's that's how we, and that's why Giovanni and him are very close, because they spend a little bit more time.
Yeah.
And even when they joined Celtic and Rangers, they were very close.
Well, I think Henrik was Giovanni Van Bronckhorst's best man at his wedding, I'm sure. As well.
We were all there.
Yeah.
We were all there. Yeah, that was good. But that's another thing. Where I was in Rotterdam, and that was obviously the second season.
Yeah.
And then everybody got invited, and Rangers and Celtic, and it was really good to see.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking Scotland was in a good place. The food was a good place in Europe. The two teams were strong. The city was buzzing. You know what I mean? And everybody then we could still socialize.
Of course, there's a lot of Dutch Ibrox at that point as well.
Yeah. Obviously, the coaching staff.
Yeah.
And obviously, Giovanni. You know what I mean?
Giovanni.
You know, I mean, he's done all right for himself. You know?
Do you think in retrospect he was kind of harshly treated as manager of Rangers? You know, I wonder if they maybe get rid of him a wee bit too quickly.
I think, to be honest, that interview that he gave after Amsterdam game, right, against Ajax, talked about competing. Now you ask a question, but he interprets it a different way. He always wants to compete, but he talks about the money. He thinks maybe about the money side of funds that come in that are not going into the club. It goes to maybe people they own it to.
Yeah.
It doesn't get invested. So we try to compete, but we can't compete.
Yeah.
In that sense. So people need to understand the different meanings of competing on a financial level or on a sporting level. And that's the difference. And you can feel straight away that, there's something was maybe off. And he had to work with what he had. He's a good coach, very soft-spoken. I think he has a lot of respect for the players that he had on him. It just, unfortunately, it took him to the final. And then, obviously, then you go. I don't know the ins and outs, but I like to think that something behind closed doors I wasn't happy with. And
I think in today's game, the two of them go hand in hand, Bob. Now, the financial aspects go with the sporting aspects, because you need that financial to buy players, and I don't see a lot of players coming through now the way it used to, especially in Scotland. I mean, Scotland were producing unbelievable players, little guys who's the heart of a lion. Where do you see? They don't see them now.
Because I remember when I was a youngster.
I don't see it. I don't. Passing sideways and backwards.
Yeah, but that's exactly it. Because I remember watching the World Championships, called in the final against Saudi Arabia. I watched it on the 16th. I watched it. I remember
when Scotland got the final at Hampden.
I watched it.
Yeah,
I watched it on TV. I watched it. I was like, fast, bam. But I think the whole the infrastructure, how you want to bring up development system is wrong. I think it's wrong, to be honest. I think it's wrong because nowadays there's too much emphasis on passing, on walking into the wall. It's you need. So you have a team. I don't want to pass it. Somebody's got to break the lines and be creative. I don't want 3 people. You need to. That's why you got a number 10. Now, when you need a number 10, you need a creative player like say Alubo and something different. So in the team that I played in, if you look at the 20 players in the squad, everybody had something different. Different type of striker, different type of service. So you've got options, you got variations. Now it's all passing. I watched the game the other day. Was it Falk against Hamilton? A guy gets the ball on the right wing. He only thinks the first touch, and it's like he gets agitated. What do I do now? That's a big gap in the middle. Just freaking drive that ball.
Yeah, just go straight through there.
You've got kids. I'm like, so you're creating a doubt, and this is the thing with development. If you want to develop anybody, you have to let them make mistakes. And as they make mistakes, and you see it differently, you ask them, what was your thought process there? And then you say, right, could you have done this? You ask them the question, let them think. Don't give them the answer. Just let them think about it. Just plant some seeds, and that's how they learn. Instead of preventing. Preventing has been a cue. If you want to be healthy. So, but in the meantime, you just need to let youngsters develop by making mistakes, and then make them less. Make them understand. Think about the game instead of telling them what to do. Instead of expressing them what to do.
Enjoy it. If kids have got to enjoy it. They don't want training. I mean, they're too young. This passing sideways back. And then I was talking to Lenny. We're playing golf actually, and we're talking. And I mentioned the word to him, and he says it doesn't get used in football now. Entertainment.
Yeah, so the terminology goes out of the window. It's really weird. It's we're going through a new kind of.
We used to go. I mean, people forget. 60,000 fans at Celtic Park. They're there to be entertained. It's okay. They want to win. But they're used to being entertained.
I think it's a style. You want to play like you watch attractive football. Attractive style of football. Yes, I get a defensive side, but you want to, it's like up and down, right. But at times you have to close shop. You got to roll your sleeves up and get in it. Get into it and says, no, might not be attractive, but you got a result. Next time, depending on your opposition, and you think also the importance. You can keep going, always like a Barcelona, it keeps going. It's like, just close shop. You got a few minutes. So it's that kind of maybe, Henrik and all the other players says, right, we don't need to force it now. We can defend this and we get a result. So higher up, it's about how about getting the result. If you get it with good attacking football, brilliant. But sometimes you have to roll up the sleeves. I'm a little bit maybe negative, but we just defend and we just hit it on the break.
The big news last night was Rangers been linked to Carlo Ancelotti's boy.
No, well, I didn't hear that. That's not what I heard. I get told Ancelotti's going to Ibrox, and I thought you're having a delusional.
You're having a Steffi Graf,
and then I found out it was his son. Well, who knows? I mean, listen. Hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn, but if it wasn't Carlo Ancelotti's son, he wouldn't be in the frame.
No.
He wouldn't be in the frame if he wasn't. Is he the same kind of manager?
I don't know.
Ancelotti went to Everton, couldn't handle it. He didn't do nothing there because he didn't have the money that you can buy at Real Madrid. So is he that good a coach? I think because that's what they need at Rangers. They need a good coach.
But I think it's the climate. It has to suit you. So when it goes to France, we go to Italy. When it goes to Spain, it's fine. See, but it goes to Britain. That's why I love the Dutch coaches. When they come over, they're told, do not bring your former Dutch players with you because the transition is different. It's different. When I came here and I came to UK in '96, it took me 4 years to understand not just the football style and all that, but it was more the banter as well. Everything in the dressing room. Because in Holland we can't do that, right? But now I'm quite sarcastic and think I'm supposed to be spending time with him. He kind of know. But that's a dressing room banter too. And it's a different style. Right. It's different. So we think playing in Britain. is different because it's an island, different culture, right? Playing in Spain, yes, is European football. We have a lot more in common. And I think if you just think about it this way, that's why when you do over, you need a transition period to kind of adjust yourself. And this, it's, as a foreign manager come in, it's
a massive task for someone who's never been a manager in his own right. Yeah. 35 years old, he's been an assistant manager. I think he was a fitness coach, sports scientist,
everything else. Yeah.
But throw him into a dugout opposite Brendan Rodgers and ask someone with that experience or lack of experience of being his own man and trying to overturn Rodgers in the Goldfish Bowl that is Glasgow as well.
Just come back to one of our other guests, Charlie McGrew, says he loved football, he loved doing the coaching bit. He says, becoming a manager, he says, he's only part-time. He says, nightmares because you can't get out of your head.
Completely different.
And especially if you go to Ibrox, your first job.
First job, depends what's his support network going to be, who's going to have with him. Loses his first game against Celtic, loses his first game against anybody, all of a sudden the pressure's on.
But you see yourself, they don't understand the culture here. Right, the client, but they don't understand it yet.
Yeah.
This is not Spain. This is not Italy. Or this is not. Come here straight away. This is different.
Yeah.
And it's a lot different.
You see, you're right, because is this the Tony Bloom thing? That the stats you get, it's like the good stats. But Glasgow's take stats out the window because it's a different culture.
Different culture.
It's a bit
different. These stats, you can lose a couple of games. You can't lose a couple of games.
I would actually be surprised if that was true and he was on that list and he was serious about the thing. I'd be surprised if he actually chose that. Because for first job, and he probably does his research and stuff, and he says no. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go somewhere else because there's other where it would suit me.
See, you can lose a match.
Yeah, you look at it.
Lose a match and react to losing a match in a kind of normal way. Where like it happens 99% of the world, you lose a match, it's not a complete disaster. Lose a match in Glasgow,
it's a disaster.
In your first few weeks, it is.
Yeah, but it's a different type of professionalism too.
Yeah,
I know.
Then I compare it to here.
The other big thing I saw yesterday, Rod Stewart was a wee bit cheeky, saying that Celtic fans should be singing.
That's just Rod.
Celtic fans singing "Simply the Best." I think we hear that more and more often.
I think so.
It's a bit naughty, isn't it?
I know. Well, listen, they've been doing it for years, and it's been the bane of a lot of Celtic supporters. It's a bit of banter. We were talking to Bomber last week, and we said it in the show. In the 90s, we got battered, at Celtics, and we took it. We had to take it, and we got all the stick off the Celtic supporters. We got all the stick off the Rangers supporters, Rangers players. They were up there, and it's Celtic's turn now, and they've been through 13.
I would just say
somebody's got to come in and change it.
The irony of it all.
I know,
exactly.
I know.
But so we get trophy day on Saturday, and as will happen, as has been happening most years recently, the young team, the fans will take over the East End, the Merchant City, So hopefully hopefully it passes off peacefully, and it's not a big clear up needed.
Well, I think. I'm a right in thinking.
You into all that? Do you think that's a good thing?
I don't mind it. I don't mind Celtic supporters or Rangers supporters.
There's an argument that a lot of the folk are doing it and leaving it at the game.
But I know. But that's the problem is. I heard there's a walk going through Glasgow as well, which might not be.
I saw that somebody said there's
many bands. I hope it's wrong. I hope it's wrong. I mean, listen, I don't think it's July yet. But surely the police wouldn't.
Scotland's finest and the local authorities surely wouldn't have allowed that.
No, well.
You thought so Celtic title party and an orange walk in Glasgow City Centre on the same day. Popcorn at the ready. But you need to tell us what you're up to now, and anything you want to plug as well. Give you an opportunity.
You're coaching. You do the kids.
I'm doing the one-to-one football coaching. Got for a while. I don't really advertise it as such. Just basically word of mouth. On this note. But it's private, and it's for. It was really for any kind of age group. But I've obviously over all these years, last 15 years, I've kind of changed things about a bit more.
That's a good thing. I think that's a good thing.
That's good. But also for me as a coach now, it's just you're also not your teacher. You have to work with different personalities of the youngsters. Yeah. Obviously, you recognize straight away the drive is different, equipment is different. It's like if you want to be a professional football player, but just enjoy the game first, develop your skills, get an understanding for it. Because if you want to become pro, is different because
Yeah, but
you probably do not like when how things go. It's not just kicking the ball.
No,
There's a lot of things. There's politics going on.
You know.
There's injuries, all that kind of stuff.
I know.
But still, it's more. I think mentally, just the kind of it's okay to make mistakes, that kind of stuff, because they get really uptight. It's
good.
But I realize, and then this is the thing that I have to say, is that they might not like this, but the coaching that they get at the club level, grassroots, that was terrible. Yes, you can coach them, but you have to teach them things. You have to teach them, not to shout at them. You got to tell them, right, that's not right, and this is going to work. And the reason why, because again, is the culture, is the attitude. You want quick fixes, or you just shouting to figure out. You need to have the patience to go in and teach them. This is your responsibility as a coach to teach them things. Identify that guy, that boy, or that girl needs a little bit tougher approach. The other one needs to be like hand on shoulder. Listen, they need a bit more confident, a bit more comfort. Yeah. You need to judge all that
completely. Might be the most talented young footballer in the world, but he's shy.
Yeah, shy.
He doesn't know how to deal with the rough and tumble of a changing room.
I think it's a great idea that parents can think their kids got a chance to make it, so they give one-on-one with somebody like Bobby. I think it's a great idea. Because
the things that I notice, I really notice a lot. And even I help out with the 5-star international for scholarship to go to America, boys and girls. So overseas from 14, 15, 16 and stuff. And boys as well. And so the other clubs, then they come over and go in a group and they play against each other, right? Just a bit of a showcase, but also to see what they're like. Now, and they'll hear this. The first thing, and it is everyone that I watch, I'm like, right, your first thing you have to do, you control that ball first, then move with it.
Yeah.
But when you do move with intentions, but I don't get coached to that. So when they come to me, it's totally different.
Yeah.
I coach them how I coach myself and how I've been coached by other people. I pick things up very quickly. For me, it's all about skill and technique. Just stop there. See if you want to control that ball. The ball is coming to you and you come towards that ball. And you have to go there. What do you need to do? Stop that ball. You need to stop yourself too.
Yeah. We don't move your foot towards the ball for a start because then it shoots away. Tommy Burns used to talk about soft feet and just...
A lot of people now don't know. I mean, can't control the ball. So
they can't control the ball. But see, if I got something in my hands, I grab it like this, right? So if I want to control the ball, catch it, I don't catch it in the back of my hand. It's there, inside foot.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
If I want to get it out of my feet, do I do this or do I do this with my hand? Yeah. So this is your top of your toes.
Yeah.
This is it. This is what I guide it with. Your feet and your hands are the same. If I want to throw something, I need to have this. We throw from bottom. Like in the slot with golf, it's like that. It's at the bottom. Bam. Extend through it. Yeah. And there's all these things. And positioning. You said you need to be left. All these things. But I need to be taught or be made aware of
basics really.
Already. Yeah. These are the basics as a coach. So and I'm a bit surprised because obviously I like to work with boys and girls who have got something. Makes it easier for me.
Have you got anybody that's you think can?
Yeah, there's a few. There's a few. They're making progress, and I think my job is to. Sorry,
if they got agents, we can make a few bob.
All right, you
push
guys.
them onto you.
Aye, nice wee business deal going on. Now we're going to have to wrap up in a wee second or two, but just as ever, it's a reminder to all our viewers and listeners. We know there's people driving along there listening to an audio as well, and thanks for doing that. But please keep subscribing in great numbers. As I say every week, the numbers are actually growing at quite a rate. We're moving towards before long we'll be heading towards 10,000 subscribers, which is beyond our wildest dreams, to be honest. Because
thank you very much.
People don't have to subscribe to watch it, but it helps us if you do. So I'm actually tell you what. The person who's a 10,000th subscriber will get a phone call from Frank McAvennie. Yeah. How about that?
Maybe we gotta give him a golf.
Maybe we'll give him a golf.
Give him a golf. Me and Bobby, Simon will take you out. So there you go.
So hit subscribe and follow us on all the social media channels, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. It's free. It's free to do it. And we'll keep getting guests like Bobby. I have to ask you before we finish up. At the end of the 6-2 game, what did Martin O'Neill say to you? Can you remember?
He did say that everyone else absolutely brilliant, fantastic, amazing. That's I will forget. That's what a moment.
Then would you say after that, get over it?
Move on the next one. I know, but I don't know. He's just a man of a few words, and what he says, 5 minutes, he makes his points. He uses. Charisma and respect, and he just goes in straight away. You just know.
I think Martin made football very easy. He bought big defenders to go and head the ball.
Yeah,
he bought centre forwards for somebody that you to find. Yeah, it's simple.
It was this. I think this needs to be said. It was so easy.
Yeah,
kept it easy. So the set plays, corners for against, free kicks for, and it was easy. These are jobs, and once you've seen it once. Is that it's straight away, and it is like that.
Yeah, but you're firing in. You're taking a free kick at a corner, and you're seeing Sutton, Hudson, Mjällby, even Varga, all these Bobo, all giants. It must have been.
But I remember we played. It was with Rio Ferdinand once. Still got to knock.
Was that the Maestro game? Yep. The Bombix Day. Were you on the pitch that day?
5 minutes.
The best goal.
Oh
my God!
Right, we'll see if we can find us a footage of it.
It's just top corner, wasn't it? Rio, do you know what Rio said? Because the ball came down the air and it bounced up, and he was waiting to me controlling it, so he was going to take it off me. But I just, as a kid, the top corner.
What's it?
Nearly killed myself in the process.
So we'll be back again with another episode soon. We hope you're enjoying. We're putting out wee kind of extra bits of content during the week, as I'm sure you're seeing as well. We're putting together wee highlights reels of some of our previous guests, and some of them are absolutely brilliant. And thanks again for all the numbers and for continuing to support the great man and myself. And we will see you again soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank.
Yeah, thank you. Cheers, Bob.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.